Good Tuesday evening, South Carolina Weather Watchers. I'm your meteorologist, Jesse Peterson, and let's go in and talk about the weather for your Tuesday evening going into your future. We have some stuff that we are going to go on and talk about tonight. But before we go on and get into that, let me fix something real quick because I think I just did something on my computer that I forgot to change. So actually, I'm going to go on and fix that real quick. Put that back down to 8,000. Apply. Okay. I think we should be good. I'll see what that does. But before we get into that, if you have not hit the like button yet, go on and do so. Also, make sure you go and hit the subscribe button as well if you are new and you've never hit the subscribe button before. Right now, we are at around a good 649, trying to get to that big goal of 700. One subscriber away from the halfway mark, 51 away from the main goal of 700. That's number 2. Also share with your friends, your family members, acquaintances, people you don't even know. Tomorrow, short-term future, long-term future, all of that stuff we'll talk about. And then we will also go on and talk about our we'll also go back and talk about our weather for, long-term future pattern, stuff like that. If you're on the stream right now, I do apologize. I don't know what in the world's going on. I'm going to have to... I think I know what's happening, but I'm going to go in and see what in the world happened with that, because I think something's going on with my internet right now. But I'm just going to push through it. We're just going to have to continue it. So if you do experience any buffering, it doesn't look like it's canceling out right now. Yes, Mr. Chris, I see your comment. Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's freezing. But I'm just going to have to push it out. I've already started now. I can't do nothing about it right now. We're just going to have to continue and push it forward. So we're just not going to waste any time, and we're just going to go in and push through. Going on right now, what's going on in terms of the entire state of South Carolina? Well, right now, rainfall at this point, not expected. We're not looking at any sort of rainfall right now. But if we go in and scroll our way out, see what's going on throughout the entire U.S., rainfall and snowfall going on throughout Michigan, going throughout New York, going throughout Vermont, New Hampshire, rainfall also going on over here inside of New York, also over there inside of Pennsylvania, Ohio, and then also over here inside of, we have some rainfall in Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Montana, and Wyoming. But for the most part, I mean, look at how nice it is over here. Nice and dry all the way throughout the southern U.S., from California over towards Florida towards, us in the Carolinas and Virginia. It just looks overall very nice. Now, what about our cloud cover? Well, cloud cover is indeed moving throughout the upstate. Same thing with the low country and the Midlands, but some of it may be low. You see like some of that darker blue, or more, even some might say lighter, but kind of like that darker, lighter bluish. And as we go on and push this forward all the way through into around 7 o'clock in the morning, you can see all this cloud cover that we have over here inside of the upstate, the low country, the PD, the Grand Trent areas, all the way over to around 10 o'clock in the morning to 1 o'clock p.m. Look at how clear it starts to get. But then that cloud cover will try to come back again 7 p.m. tomorrow. Cloud cover continuing its way through. Then once we get to around 1 o'clock in the morning here on Thursday, it just looks like that heavy cloud cover will continue its way through all the way to around 12 o'clock p.m. on Thursday. And then once you finally get to around 7 o'clock p.m. here on Thursday, it looks like cloud cover will be mainly just a mostly cloudy area. And so we're just going to have to continue to look for this cloud cover, because for the most part, it's looking on and off cloud cover. Now, what about our low temperatures? Well, low temperatures tonight, Somerville around 58. Not low temperatures, but live temperatures. Somerville around 58, Charleston around 58, as well as Beaufort 58, 59, inside of Hilton Head 57, inside of Georgetown, even around a good 57, inside of Murray's Inlet, you move on over here, you have around 59, inside of Conway, as well as 57 in Myrtle Beach, 57 in North Myrtle Beach and Murray's Inlet, as well as 60 in Florence, 60 in Hartsfield, Sumter, 59 in Columbia, Lugoff, 60 inside of Aiken, and 59 also inside of Newbury and Greenwood, 58 also inside of Lawrence, and 58 in Spartanburg, 57 in Greenville, as well as 57 for inside of Clemson. Same thing as well in Gaffney, 57, 56 in York, and 57 inside of Rock Hill. Then for your low temperatures for tonight, you have around a good 46 in Greenville, 47 Spartanburg, as well as a good 49 in Rock Hill, 49 in Anderson, and 49 in Lawrence, 51 in Newbury, and even 51 in Greenwood, 53 in Myrtle Beach. Now for your high temperatures for tomorrow, you have around a good 64 in Greenville, 64 in Spartanburg, and even around a good 65 in Rock Hill, 68 in Cheraw, and 67 in Dillon, 68 also inside of Florence, and 69 in Sumter, 67 in Kingstree, Georgetown, Myrtle Beach, 67 also inside of Charleston, as well as 69 Orangeburg, Barnwell, Walterboro, and 66 in Hilton Head Island. Now that's for your high temperatures for tomorrow. Rainfall for tonight. You may see this and you're like, okay, well, it looks like no rainfall is expected as we go throughout the next 24 hours or so. And that's what you would think, especially in terms of accumulation as well. But some models might have some stuff to say that might be a little bit different. We move on over here in terms of the crazy score first, though. And right now we're at a turn. But more of like something that we talked about this morning. We touched on it a little bit. That isolated very light warm advection shower. So if you saw there on the actual models this morning, if you were tuned in this morning, you saw that there was some isolated shower activity that we saw over there inside of like the Midlands, a little bit in the upstate, and it kind of like moved its way over towards the east. And I said that for the most part, it may have just been like a little one model run thing. Well, looks like the more we got into today, the more that I saw that it started to like appear a little bit more. And so now what they say is that this is not going to produce any sort of accumulation. So that's why it's not on the map. But it fits the do in fact change. And so that's what we were looking at here. Just more change continuing to happen. Now in terms of the models for the future, we start off here at around 9 o'clock p.m. And as you go in and push this forward, you can see for the most part right here around 12 o'clock in the morning, there goes those warm advection showers that you see over there inside the western part of the state. And then once you get to around 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m., that shower activity, again, not really doing enough to really produce any sort of accumulation. It's really just there just to be kind of just like an annoying type of rain. Doesn't really help you out at all. Really, all it does is really just sit there and look out for some isolated shower activity to on go. But if it does perform, or it does happen to drop some accumulation, it's not going to be much at all. Not going to be much. Probably 1/100 of an inch to maybe a little bit more, but not much at all. Now, what about the long-term future? Well, we're going to start off here at the 54-hour mark. We're going to push this forward. You can see right here rainfall right around January the 10th-ish at around 1 p.m., going all the way to around January the 11th. And there goes our cold front that we were watching for. Cold front that we're watching for. We have the cold air behind it. We indeed do have the warm air in front of it. Now, will this cause any severe weather? Well, right now, looking like a no. If you remember, for the most part, here towards the models again in terms of the convection, we have some cooler air coming in right behind it, obviously. Then as you move your way through all the way into around like the 14th, we have another little batch of cold air moving its way through around like the 14th, then into the 15th, another one moving in as you go into around like the 18th and the 19th. And we're not done there either. Look at this on the 21st and the 22nd. If this was to occur, again, remember, this is 300 to 400 hours out. This will change significantly. In fact, I doubt that this will even be here tomorrow for the next model run. But you can see sleet, freezing rain, all of that seems to appear here as we go into around January the 22nd. And so, will this happen? Like I said, way too far out. Way too far out. But something to watch for. Definitely something to keep an eye out for. PM. Not 11 o'clock p.m., but January 11th, that's completely different. But, I mean, I actually might try to move through around like 11 o'clock a.m., though, right here on January the 11th. And so, that dry air moves its way through. You go all the way through to 7 o'clock p.m. right here on January the 15th. That other cold front moves through, another cold front trying to move its way through here on around January the 18th. Again, the 19th going into the 21st, the 22nd. And so, for right now, it looks like that we're still in that train keep on talking about the train of cold fronts, keep on talking about the parade of cold fronts, or the line of cold fronts just continuing to occur back and forth, and these will cause in our atmosphere. Even if we go into the temperature anomalies as well, we go on and look at that. For right now, I mean, obviously, us being above average, I mean, if you saw our low temperatures, you already saw that pretty much. It's definitely more mild and more warmer than average. But if we continue this forward all the way January the 8th, January the 9th, nice and warm. Cold air moves through January the 11th, the 12th, then some more warmer air, but for the most part, that cooler air will be trying to make a return. And you can see that this is warmer air, but one thing you need to keep an eye out for, don't let this trick you, is that even though it's warmer than average, that does not mean that it's going to be warm at all. So make sure that you know that that is not always the case. We go back into the shaded temperatures as well. And like I was saying, it shows above average temperatures, but look at these temperatures only being up to the 50s, You see some below freezing temperatures right here on the 15th and the 16th as well. And then, for the most part, in the Sunday. But that's all I have to say in terms of the models, because I think my computer might actually try and die on me if I try and keep on doing that. I'm just playing. That was a joke. But I got a new computer, so luckily, if this was my old computer, it probably would have already crashed by now. But luckily, we can still stay here. So we're going to go on right now and talk with the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say for tonight. If I go on and get it right up here, because apparently, got the chat right here to the side. My Aunt Lula says, first, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. I'm going to have the chat put up in just a second. Then Thad says, no, he's all the way down there. She comes back and says, I hope everyone had a great day. I did. Thank you so much for asking. Then as we continue our way down, Mr. Chris comes in and says, good evening, everyone. Hope you had a great day. I did. Thank you so much for asking. My Aunt Shirley comes in and says, good Tuesday, everyone, and blessings to all. Well, thank you so much for that. Mr. Chris says, please remember to go and hit the like button and the subscribe button. Also, share. It's free. My Aunt Lula says, today in Georgetown, it was very nice. Not cold at all. Not cold at all. And then also, Mr. Chris says, currently it's 59 here inside of Monk's Corner and clear. Thank you both so much for that weather update. My Nana says, legit beautiful day, and I soaked up lots of rays. That's good to hear. Good to hear. Glad that you were able to do that. Mr. Anthony says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. Then, continue our way down. Thad says, good evening, Joseph, and the 360 weather family. I trust all is well. Another beautiful day here in San Antonio. Well, that's great to hear. Great to hear. I'm glad to hear that was another great day, and it's probably going to continue. We'll talk about that. Current temperature is 60 degrees, slightly cloudy as well. And right now, my house is around 57.5, so I'll round up to... That says, is it true that it never rains in Southern California? That's what they tell me. Well, with the amount of rainfall that they just got over in like the past week or two, I think that during that portion they hoped that it never rained, because that was a lot of rainfall that they just got. They had some flooding concerns over there inside of Southern California, San Diego, Los Angeles. I mean, they were just under a high risk of excessive rainfall not too long ago. So they probably hoped that rain didn't exist at that time, but it does rain. It does rain in Southern California. Cheryl then says, greetings everyone, nice day here. Well, thank you for that. Greetings to you. Mr. Chris says, not looking forward to it getting cold again. I'm not either. Especially since it's going to be back down towards, the 30s again. And some even freezing as well in terms of their temperatures. So I'm not really looking too forward for that for people. But we're just going to have to continue to go through. Spring is now less than 2 months away. At least meteorological spring, not climatological spring. That still has around 2 months and some change left. And then for the most part, that's all I can see for me. So let's go and talk about the full locations outside of South Carolina. You might be asking full location, what are you talking about? I'm talking about San Antonio, Texas, Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as well as Duncan, Oklahoma. If you don't know why we talk about them, it's because we have people from these areas who tune in almost nightly, and because they tune in almost nightly, we go on and talk about their forecast for them. Because, well, like I said, they tune in, and even though the location's not even there, severe weather, excessive rainfall, what are you seeing there right now? In terms of severe weather and excessive rainfall right now, it looks like that you have no risk right now. Right now, you have no risk at all. But in terms of excessive rainfall, I can pretty much say the same thing. Nothing's expected there either, so you're good. Now, as we move on, what's going to happen in terms of your future over there inside of San Antonio? Well, right now it looks like, for the most part, I said it was going to be warm for a little bit, and it's going to cool back down. It will. Like Friday, 79 degrees. You're having fun in the sun. For the most part, mostly cloudy, but still fun in the sun. Saturday though, 59 is your high temperature now. And so it's going to kind of just stay near that area. And so what about Raleigh being the next area with low temperatures tonight at 49, high temperatures tomorrow at 68, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 41. Precipitation, not expected at this time. In terms of severe weather, excessive rainfall, anything like that, it looks like for the most part that you are good as well. You are good as well. No severe weather, anything like that. Excessive rainfall, not, nothing there either. But what about your future? Right now, it looks like that you will warm back up. Friday, 74. Saturday, 73. But then you'll drop back down again. Monday, high of 50. Sunday, high of 59. So you'll drop back down. But for right now, it looks like that you will. No precipitation, severe weather, excessive rainfall. None of that's expected. But in terms of your fog risk, widespread fog definitely will be a concern as you go into tonight. That definitely will be a concern. Not only that, but you will also, same thing like the others, be warming up for a little bit, but then you'll cool right back down. Monday, high of 42. Tuesday, high of 46. And then even if we go into your precipitation, Tuesday, even going into Friday, Saturday, it looks like right now rainfall 60 all the way up to a 70 to 90% chance throughout the weekend. And then finally, 25 is your low, high temperature around 52, so you will cool down as well. Everyone's going to be doing a little bit of a cool down. And I did make a little bit of a mistake because you actually do have a chance for some severe weather tomorrow. I do take that back. You do, in fact, have a risk for some severe weather tomorrow that is for mainly just damaging winds and damaging hail, but don't be surprised if you see some, isolated damaging wind gusts from 40 to 60 miles per hour and then some hailstones all the way up to an inch in diameter, quarter-sized. And I think that is all that I can see here in terms of these four areas. So what's going on in terms of the entire U.S. Weather news-wise? Well, it looks like right now, 2 more cold fronts will pass through the northwest U.S. this week. And, with that, with heavy mountain snow continuing in the northern Rockies, a quick-moving storm system will then bring mixed precipitation, including some freezing rain, across the northeast U.S. overnight into Wednesday. We will see some dense fog, and when I say we will see some dense fog, I mean we will see some dense fog going all the way from eastern Texas to Louisiana to Alabama to Mississippi to southeastern Arkansas over into southern Tennessee. That will be another one issue to watch for in terms of fog cover. You also will see some high winds as well. High winds will be moving through southwestern California, where they do in fact receive rainfall. But it's more like, I think it's probably going to be more on like the higher elevation. They have high wind watches around like, gusts of up to around 35, 50-ish miles per hour. And that's just sustained, 35 mile per hour sustained winds, 50 miles per hour in terms of wind gust. And that's all I see here in terms of the entire future. Again, I do apologize for the stream going in and out. Like I said, I couldn't fix it midstream. We had already started, and before I checked, I hope that we can go in and just get that fixed so that that doesn't happen anymore. But I believe that is it. So everyone, top fans real quick. Mr. Chris is at number 1, as usual. Not really too shocked there. Maya Lou is at number 2. And then I believe Thad is at number 3. Congratulations to the 3 of y'all for being the top fans of the night tonight. That if you want to be part of the top fans, you can by joining us at 9:00 p.m. Eastern Time, being here early, and being active inside of the chat. All of that is definitely appreciated. Let me go in and check out the chat. Mount Lewis says, I have 2 the Monk's Corner area at 7:40 a.m. this morning. Visibility is down. Let me go in and, yeah, definitely can see it. Let me go and show you all the picture real quick. Here it is right here. Amazing picture. I saw a picture not too long ago of seeing fog from above ground, and it just looks like just a big cloud, pretty much, just above ground, or just below you instead, because they were up in the airplane. And they got a picture, and somebody got a picture of it, and it just looked like fog, like a huge cloud just on the ground instead, under the plane instead. So that was pretty interesting to see. But I do thank you for this picture. If you do want to send me a picture, you can by sending it to scweather360@gmail.com. Again, that is scweather360@gmail.com. Go on and send it there, and I'll go on and show it. But yes, I'll be back tomorrow morning for your Wednesday morning forecast update. Everyone have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday, and make sure you hit those 2 buttons before you leave.